Welcome, the anointed ones. The greatest trick the elite ever pulled was convincing the world they didn't exist. For centuries, hidden hands have pulled the strings of society, shaping governments, economies, and even minds. But what happens when those strings begin to snap? What happens when the so-called chosen ones, the truth-tellers, the disruptors, the unapologetically awakened, refuse to dance to their tune? Here's a fact to ponder. In 2013, Edward Snowden leaked classified information revealing the extent of global surveillance. The truth sent shockwaves worldwide, yet many still dismissed it, saying, "If I'm not doing anything wrong, why should I care?" Fast forward to today, and we've learned that ignorance isn't just bliss, it's their greatest weapon. But here's the kicker: the chosen ones aren't playing by their rules anymore. You've become the glitch in their matrix, the uninvited guest who walked into their fortress of lies and turned on the lights. And while they wage war against you, deploying propaganda, censorship, and manipulation, they're facing a truth they can't suppress. You're unstoppable. It's like watching a cat try to cover up its mess on a tile floor. Clumsy, desperate, and frankly a little funny if it weren't so sinister. But make no mistake, this isn't just a fight for power. It's a battle for humanity's future, and the chosen ones have already tipped the scales. So buckle up. This isn't just about survival. This is about obliterating their agenda and reclaiming your destiny. Are you ready? Number 1. The elite's obsession with silencing you is proof of your power. The elite's obsession with silencing you isn't a coincidence. They don't waste their time on what doesn't matter. If you've felt targeted, whether through censorship, discrediting, or outright isolation, it's because you've hit a nerve. You've seen through their carefully crafted illusion, and that makes you dangerous. Their power depends on keeping people blind, docile, and obedient. The moment someone like you starts questioning their lies, their entire system shakes. Here's the truth they won't admit. They're terrified of you. They're not afraid of protests or hashtags. They're afraid of your ability to think critically, to see beyond the facade, and to communicate that truth to others. Every lie they've built their empire on becomes weaker the moment you speak out. Their control isn't as solid as it seems. It's fragile, and it relies entirely on people staying asleep. You disrupt that balance, and they know it. This is why their attacks feel personal. They want to make you doubt yourself. They want you to feel alone, outnumbered, and powerless. It's psychological warfare, designed to make you question your purpose. But here's the kicker. Their focus on you is the ultimate confirmation of your power. If you weren't a threat, they'd ignore you. They wouldn't spend billions on surveillance, propaganda, and distractions to keep you quiet. You've proven their control isn't absolute. By simply being aware and refusing to conform, you've already dealt them a blow. And that's what scares them most. They can't silence everyone. For every chosen one they try to suppress, a dozen more awaken. You're the proof that their grip is slipping, and they're scrambling to hold on. Their obsession with you is a desperate admission. You're winning, and they can't stop it. Number 2, their control matrix thrives on lies. Your truth is their kryptonite. The elite's entire power structure is built on lies, layer upon layer of deception, so intricate it almost feels impenetrable. They don't rely on brute force alone. They weaponize falsehoods to control perception. Lies about who holds power, lies about the system's fairness, lies about your potential. They use these to keep the masses in check. Their survival depends on everyone believing these stories without question. But here's the twist. Your truth threatens to unravel it all. When you expose one of their lies, it doesn't just reveal a single crack. It starts a chain reaction. It's like pulling a thread on a tightly knit sweater. They've worked for generations to weave this illusion, but it only takes one truth-teller to bring the whole thing down. That's why they react so aggressively when you speak up. They'll discredit you, smear your reputation, or bury your voice under a mountain of noise. But their panic is telling. They know that truth has a way of spreading. Once people see through one lie, they begin to question everything. And here's their biggest weakness. Lies need constant maintenance. They require propaganda, distractions, and fear to keep people compliant. But truth is self-sustaining. It doesn't need reinforcement. Once it's out, it sticks. That's why your truth is their kryptonite. You've disrupted the game, exposing the rules they've hidden for so long. They bank on you feeling small and powerless, but the reality is their entire system trembles at the thought of even a single person waking up. The truth can't be unseen, and once it's shared, it spreads like wildfire. Your voice doesn't just challenge their lies, it obliterates them. And for all their wealth and power, they have no defense against it. Number 3, the war isn't just physical, it's energetic and spiritual. The war you're facing isn't just about what's happening in the physical world. It's not just about governments, corporations, or laws. This battle is deeper, spiritual and energetic. The elite understand this even if they pretend otherwise. They know that controlling the physical world isn't enough. They need to control your energy, your spirit, and your mind. That's where the real war is being fought. Think about it. Why do they push fear so relentlessly? Fear isn't just an emotion. It's a low vibration. When people live in fear, they're easier to manipulate. Fear cuts off creativity, intuition, and connection to higher truths. It keeps people trapped in survival mode, unable to see the bigger picture. The elite use fear as a weapon to drain your energy and keep you stuck in a reality they control. But here's the thing they don't want you to realize. Your energy is more powerful than anything they've built. Your alignment with truth, love, and freedom creates a frequency they can't touch. When you operate from that place, you're untouchable. That's why they bombard you with distractions, chaos, and division to keep you from tapping into your full power. This war is fought in every decision you make, every thought you allow, and every action you take. When you choose truth over comfort, courage over fear, and unity over division, you're breaking their grip. You're winning on a level they can't fight back against. Their control is limited to the physical. They can manipulate systems and institutions, but they can't reach the part of you that's infinite. The chosen ones aren't just exposing lies, they're shifting the entire battlefield. This isn't just resistance, it's an awakening, and it's happening in ways the elite can't stop or even fully understand. Number 4. The chosen ones aren't chosen by accident. You hold the blueprint for freedom. You weren't chosen randomly or by mistake. The challenges you've faced, the instincts you've sharpened, and the truths you've uncovered have prepared you for a purpose far greater than yourself. Every setback, every moment of doubt, and every fight to hold on to your integrity has shaped you into a living blueprint for freedom. The elite rely on systems designed to keep humanity enslaved. Systems of fear, ignorance, and division. But you've seen through their illusions. You didn't just survive their attempts to control you, you grew stronger. You developed an unshakable intuition, the kind that can detect lies before they're even spoken. You've learned resilience, the kind that allows you to rise even when everything seems stacked against you. That's why you're here, in this moment, fully aware of their agenda and ready to dismantle it. What makes you dangerous isn't just your knowledge. It's your ability to act on it. You've become the living embodiment of the solutions the world needs. Your life experience has given you a unique perspective, and your journey has equipped you with the tools to guide others out of the maze. The elite fear you because they know that when people see your example, it becomes impossible to convince them that freedom is out of reach. You hold a piece of the puzzle they can't control. They can't replicate your spirit, your awareness, or your ability to inspire. That's why you're not just resisting their systems, you're creating a new reality entirely. And as more people awaken, the blueprint you carry will become the foundation for something they've spent centuries trying to destroy, a world where humanity is free, fearless, and fully alive. Number 5. The elite. Fear your ability to inspire the silent majority. The elite fear you not because of your individuality, but because of your influence. They know that a single voice, when rooted in truth, has the power to ripple out and shatter their carefully constructed illusion. It's not just about you waking up. It's about what happens when your voice reaches the silent majority, the people who've been watching, waiting, and yearning for something real to believe in. The silent majority isn't asleep. They're suppressed. They know something is wrong but don't have the tools or the courage to put it into words. That's where you come in. Your ability to articulate what they've been feeling deep down gives them permission to break free, and that terrifies the elite. Their power isn't built on force, it's built on compliance. The moment people stop complying, the entire system collapses. You're dangerous because you disrupt the balance. The elite have spent generations perfecting their tools of manipulation, media to control the narrative, education to shape thought, and fear to keep people in line. But all it takes is one spark, one chosen voice, to ignite a movement they can't contain. You represent that spark. They'll try to isolate you, to label you as a conspiracy theorist, a troublemaker, or a fool. But that's because they know the truth. One chosen voice can activate 1,000 minds, and 1,000 awakened minds can turn into millions. Your ability to inspire others isn't just a threat to their control, it's an existential crisis for their entire agenda. They know they can't fight an informed, united population. That's why they fear you. You're not just one person, you're a domino waiting to tip the scales. And when you do, their time is up. Number 6. Their divide and conquer tactics are useless against unified truth. The elite's most reliable weapon has always been division. They thrive on pitting people against each other by race, religion, class, politics, knowing that a fractured population is easier to control. But their divide and conquer tactics are useless when people unite around a shared, unshakable truth. And this is where the chosen ones hold the power to dismantle their entire game. The elite understand that unity is their kryptonite. That's why they work overtime to keep you disconnected, not just from the world, but from each other. They use labels, narratives, and misinformation to turn chosen ones into enemies, planting seeds of doubt and mistrust. The goal is simple, to ensure you fight each other instead of them. But their strategy only works when the chosen ones forget who they are and what they stand for. When you choose truth over ego, cooperation over competition, their tactics fall apart. Unified truth doesn't just resist division, it obliterates it. In a world built on deception, there's nothing more powerful than a group of awakened individuals moving in sync. They can't infiltrate or destabilize a network of people united by integrity, because truth doesn't bend and it doesn't break. The chosen ones have a unique strength, the ability to see beyond the illusions that trap others. When you apply that vision collectively, you're unstoppable. The elite can't manipulate a group that refuses to be divided, no matter how hard they try. Their propaganda loses its sting, their distractions lose their pull, and their control loses its grip. The moment you stand together in unwavering truth, you create something they can't counter, a force that operates outside their system, bound not by fear or greed, but by the undeniable power of freedom and unity. In that space, their reign crumbles. Number 7. The chosen are their antithesis. You thrive where their system fails. The chosen ones represent everything the elite fear: independence, resilience, and a refusal to conform to systems built on lies. Their entire power structure is designed to enforce scarcity of resources, knowledge, and opportunity. They need people to feel dependent, constantly chasing what they're told they lack, whether it's money, security, or approval. But you, the chosen ones, don't play by their rules. You thrive in the very spaces where their system is designed to keep people trapped. You've rejected the illusion of scarcity because you understand abundance isn't something they can control. It's a mindset, a way of living that recognizes there's enough for everyone, as long as we stop buying into their manufactured competition. The elite system fails because it's unsustainable. It's built on taking more than it gives, hoarding instead of sharing, and fear instead of trust. You, on the other hand, live in a state of creation and collaboration, which makes their entire framework irrelevant. They rely on control to keep their grip on power. But control only works on those who surrender their autonomy. You've reclaimed yours. You think for yourself, make your own decisions, and refuse to be spoon-fed their agenda. While their system is rigid and hierarchical, you're fluid and adaptable, thriving outside the structures they've built to confine you. The elite can't replicate what you have. They can't engineer genuine freedom or manufacture authenticity. You expose their system for what it is, a house of cards built on fear, designed to collapse under the weight of truth. Where their system imposes limits, you see possibilities. Where they demand obedience, you choose self-sovereignty. And in doing so, you prove that their way of life isn't inevitable. It's outdated. You're not just resisting their system, you're rendering it obsolete. Number 8. Their biggest weapon is psychological, but you've already reclaimed your mind. The elite's most dangerous weapon isn't a law, a war, or even technology. It's the ability to control how people think. Through media, education, and culture, they've created a system that tells you what to value, what to fear, and even what to believe about yourself. Their goal is to keep you trapped in a mental cage where you question nothing and comply with everything. But once you reclaim your mind, their power over you vanishes. They've spent decades perfecting the art of manipulation. The media doesn't just inform, it programs. Education doesn't teach critical thinking, it enforces conformity. And culture, it's curated to keep you distracted, insecure, and dependent on their approval. The entire system is designed to bombard your mind with noise, keeping you too busy or too scared to see the truth. But here's the catch. Their control only works if you let it. The moment you unplug from their narrative, you break the spell. You start to question everything. Why certain stories dominate the news, why the education system stifles creativity, and why popular culture glorifies shallow distractions. You begin to see how they manipulate fear, guilt, and desire to steer entire populations. Reclaiming your mind doesn't mean avoiding their influence entirely. It means seeing through it. You become immune to their tactics because you understand how they operate. They can push propaganda, but it won't stick. They can manufacture outrage, but it won't move you. This terrifies them because their power is entirely psychological. Without your mind under their control, they can't touch you. They rely on a mass of people who follow without question. When you break free, you don't just free yourself, you inspire others to do the same. And once enough people wake up, their system of control crumbles. Number 9, their agenda can only exist in shadows. Your light is their demise. The elite have always thrived in secrecy. Their power is built on the shadows, operating in the hidden corners of society, where their influence can go unchallenged. They manipulate from behind closed doors, constructing narratives that keep the public unaware of their true intentions. The moment you expose their plans, shine a light on their actions, their entire world shifts. Secrecy is their armor, and once it's breached, they are left exposed and powerless. What they fear most is transparency. They know their systems depend on the ability to operate without scrutiny, to make decisions in the dark without anyone asking questions. Their success is rooted in keeping the masses uninformed, distracted, and divided. When one person speaks up, when one truth is revealed, it's like cracking a window in their fortress. That first breath of truth starts a chain reaction. The elite know their strategies can only hold up as long as they're concealed. Once the light of awareness touches their actions, their manipulation becomes impossible to maintain. Their carefully curated image, built on lies and misdirection, crumbles in the face of truth. They can no longer operate with the same ease, and the game changes. You, the chosen ones, are the light they cannot control. The more you expose, the more their power shrinks. When you speak truth, you turn their shadows into a place of vulnerability. They can't hide, they can't deceive, and they can't manipulate when their secrets are no longer safe. And the best part? The more they try to fight it, the more their own systems begin to unravel. Their agenda can only survive in the dark. Your light, it's the catalyst for their demise. Number 10. You were meant to suffer, but your pain has turned you into their worst enemy. The elite's plan was simple: create obstacles so overwhelming that you'd break. They designed every hardship, every injustice, to crush your spirit and make you question your worth. Whether it was through poverty, loss, betrayal, or the countless ways society pushed you down, the goal was always the same: to make you feel small, insignificant, and powerless. But here's where they miscalculated. You didn't break. You transformed. Instead of crumbling under the weight of their engineered suffering, you found strength in places they never expected. Every challenge they threw your way didn't push you closer to defeat. It pushed you closer to becoming something unstoppable. Your pain didn't define you, it forged you. With every wound you sharpened your resolve. You didn't just survive, you learned to thrive in the face of adversity. What they failed to understand is that your suffering isn't a weakness, it's your weapon. Every scar is a reminder of how much you've overcome, and that resilience is more powerful than anything they can throw at you. They thought they could control you by breaking you, but instead they made you indestructible. This transformation is what terrifies them most. They know that when you turn your pain into power, they have no counter. They can't buy your resilience, can't manipulate it, and can't break it. What they intended to be your downfall has become the very force that will bring their agenda to its knees. You are not just their survivor, you are their worst nightmare. Unstoppable, unbreakable, and ready to dismantle everything they've built. Number 11. The chosen ones are shattering the timeline of control. The elite have spent centuries crafting a timeline, a predetermined path that they've meticulously controlled to shape the world in their image. Every move, every law, every narrative was designed to keep humanity on a track of dependency, fear, and compliance. Their system was built to endure. Their grip on the future seemed unshakable. But here's the reality they can't deny. You, the chosen ones, are rewriting that timeline. Every time you speak your truth, every time you act in defiance of their narrative, you interrupt their carefully constructed path. You're not just reacting to the world, they're reacting to you. You're making choices that refuse to comply with the script they've handed down, and in doing so, you're pulling humanity out of the future they envisioned. You're creating a new possibility, one where freedom, autonomy, and truth aren't just ideals, but the foundation of how we live. What they don't want you to realize is that this isn't just a battle for the present, it's a battle for the future itself. Every moment of resistance, every action rooted in integrity changes the very course of history. The timeline they tried to lock you into begins to unravel the moment you stand in your power. Their future is one of control, a future where they own every decision, every thought, and every individual. Your truth refuses that future. You're erasing the path they worked so hard to carve, and in its place, you're carving your own. It's more than just resistance. It's creation. You're not merely fighting against their plan, you're building a new one. The more of you who awaken and act from this place of truth, the more their timeline fades into the past, irrelevant and obsolete. The future belongs to those who are willing to create it. And right now, the chosen ones are leading the charge, shattering their timeline of control and setting the stage for a new world. Number 12. The war was never about you losing. It was always about whether you'd realize you've already won. The elite have always known something you didn't. The war was never about defeating you. It was about keeping you from realizing that you've already won. From the moment they began their campaign of manipulation, they understood that the real battle wasn't fought with weapons, laws, or policies. It was fought over your perception of yourself. They needed you to believe you were powerless, to feel like the underdog in a world where the odds were always stacked against you. But here's the truth they feared most. The moment you recognize your power, the game ends. The war was never about them winning. It was about you waking up to the fact that the truth you carry within you is untouchable. They bank on your doubt, your fear, and your lack of awareness. As long as they can keep you questioning your worth and your potential, they hold the illusion of control. But what they didn't count on was the resilience of the chosen ones. You've endured, you've fought, and most importantly, you've seen through the lies. When you step into your truth, you realize something profound. You were never meant to lose. The struggle, the obstacles, the suffering, they were all part of their plan to keep you distracted. But in the end, the truth can't be erased, and it cannot be forgotten. The truth is eternal, and once you embrace it, you become unstoppable. The elite fear this because they know they can't control what's unshakable. Your truth, once awakened, becomes a force that cannot be undone. It can't be distorted, buried, or manipulated, and that's why they're terrified of you realizing it. You've already won. The battle is over the moment you know your power, and when you stand in it, there's nothing they can do to stop you. The battle has always been more than what meets the eye. The elite systems of control were never about your defeat. They were about preventing you from realizing that you were never meant to lose. They engineered a world of scarcity, fear, and division to keep you small, to make you forget your power. But here you are, not broken, but transformed. Every wound has become your weapon, every lie a lesson in truth, every obstacle a stepping stone toward freedom. The moment you woke up to who you truly are, you became a force they cannot control, a disruption in the very fabric of their plan. The truth you carry is their greatest threat, and your light is the beacon that will bring their shadowed empire to its knees. They feared your ability to inspire, your refusal to be divided, and most of all, your ability to see through their illusions. But the reality is that their power was always a facade, built on secrecy and manipulation. Once you reclaimed your mind, and once you recognized the abundant world that awaits outside their system, their grip began to unravel. The chosen ones are not here by accident. You were activated for this very moment. You hold the blueprint for a new world, a world where truth reigns, freedom thrives, and unity shatters the timelines they've spent centuries perfecting. The war was never yours to lose. It was theirs to lose when you realized that you already won the moment you embraced your power. This is just the beginning. The old world is crumbling, and you are the architects of the new one. Together, standing in unwavering truth, you are the unstoppable force that will dismantle everything they've built and create a reality where humanity is finally free. The timeline of control has already been shattered. Now it's time to build a future that's ours. If you found this message resonating with you, don't let it stop here. Hit that subscribe button and stay connected for more powerful truths that can change the game. Like this video if you're ready to stand in your power, share it with others who need to hear it, and drop a comment below. Let's ignite this conversation and wake up the world together. You are the change, and this journey is just getting started. Let's keep pushing forward. Subscribe, like, comment, and share now. God bless you.